Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to another Facebook Live on Friday. I missed last week. I was camping. Yep, the family and I went up to Maine to do some camping for the long holiday weekend here in the U.S. and just didn't get to Facebook Live on Friday yesterday. I was too busy packing up my Jeep to the brim full of all the stuff that we needed to bring with us. So didn't get to it yesterday. That's fine. Get to it last week. That's fine. um, and But back at it this week. So um, hope everyone is doing well. I am outside today, relegated to my patio to do the Facebook Live because I've been kicked out of my office due to remote learning that it's now in session for my daughter at school. So she's in there doing her schoolwork, and so I'm out here talking to you where it's quiet. And I hope everyone's doing well with back to school and all that fun stuff and kind of getting back into things. So yeah, we're all doing all well here. It's been an adjustment, and I'm sure, like it is for most people who have kids, it's a little bit of adjustment to this new way of doing schooling. So we're making it work. Week one is almost done, and it's gone well so far. But today, it's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is strength versus cardio. So, I had someone, a fellow endurance athlete, ask me a question this week as to whether they should incorporate more strength training into whether I thought they should incorporate more strength training into their training. And it's actually a question I get a fair amount because I do a lot of work with endurance athletes. I would consider myself an endurance athlete myself. And when you're an endurance athlete, you spend a lot of your time, training endurance because it's long distance type of training and takes a lot of time. And so most of your training schedule is really dedicated to endurance training. And a lot of endurance athletes, then kind of fill in days, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, hopefully, of strength training, if that. And more endurance athletes than I would like also don't do any strength training. And when they do strength training, I notice that they actually make it more of an endurance session than a strength training session. It's just, we're so used to that endurance type of philosophy, or the longer and harder I can make my strength training, the more comfortable I feel as an endurance athlete because I want to be able to grind through the session, etc. And in reality, as endurance athletes, you don't need to train any more endurance training. You're getting enough endurance training from your endurance training. Strength training should be about building strength and muscle and maintaining muscle. And in general, I think even if you're not an athlete, that people often struggle with, well, what ratio of strength training or endurance training do I incorporate? And a lot of people actually, can shy away from strength training because um, it's not as straightforward as hopping on the treadmill or the elliptical or the rower and just rowing, right? I mean, you can get on a treadmill and run, or you can get on an elliptical and do that for 30 minutes, or you can get on a rower and row, and it's fairly straightforward. There's not a lot of skill involved. Whereas if I told you to do a proper squat or deadlift or overhead press, it's a lot more intimidating because you need to have the right form. If you don't, you're going to hurt yourself. And uh, what if I look like a weirdo doing this and it's all messed up, and oh, I'm not very strong, so I'm kind of a little embarrassed about going into the weight room and lifting so little weight. And so it can be a lot more intimidating for people to just adopt strength training. So I think a lot of people gravitate towards more cardio anyways. And so, what's the right balance between cardio and strength training? And then you have the opposite end of the spectrum where people who are really into strength training, they hate doing cardio, or they hate doing that stuff. And they do very little, right? Their idea of cardio is really just going for a walk. And there's nothing Nothing wrong with doing that, but are you really, taxing your aerobic system by going for a walk? And the answer is hopefully no, as long as you've been walking around enough. Um, so what is the right ratio? What amount of strength training should I be doing? What amount of cardio should I be doing if I'm an endurance athlete? How much strength training should I be doing? What type of strength training should I be doing? And if I'm a strength athlete, how much, you know, aerobic or endurance work should I be doing? And if I'm just someone who's looking to be healthy, what should I be doing? So I'll start off with someone who's just looking for general health. They're not an athlete. They wouldn't consider themselves an endurance athlete. They wouldn't consider themselves a strength athlete. They just want to have overall health and fitness. And to that person, I'd say, um, you know, 2 to 3 days of strength training is probably ideal. And then maybe 2 days of just long, slow endurance type of stuff, right? Um, that could be easy walks, it could be a hike, it could be getting on the elliptical for 30 minutes, it could be going for a run, it could be going for a bike ride, whatever you really want to do is, since you're not really training anything, pick different modalities, pick, whatever your favorite one is, and do 30 minutes to 40 minutes of that kind of endurance cardio type of stuff, just really easy stuff. Nothing that's like taxing, too intense. I'm not telling you to do intervals or sprints or anything like that, just low, easy work aerobically. Um, and that would be fine for someone just looking for everyday, health and wellness. If you're a strength athlete and you're wondering how much, should I be doing any kind of aerobic or endurance work at all, um, the answer is yes. Actually, I think that if you're a strength athlete, there is an aspect of endurance to your strength workouts, right? Uh, I think as a strength athlete, you've been to the point where you're grinding through a very long, tough workout with lots of sets and reps and stuff like that, and that's an endurance component, right? As I was saying, like before, endurance athletes like to turn their strength workouts into endurance workouts, um, and when they shouldn't. So there is an aspect to endurance when your strength workout starts to get really long and arduous. So having some endurance or aerobic fitness is very important. So if you're a strength athlete, you're probably working, doing strength workouts 3 to 4 times a week already. It leaves you with at most 3 days to do any kind of endurance stuff. And I would say for a strength athlete, 1 or 2 days a week, getting on some type of cardio type of equipment, again, whether it's a treadmill or a rower or a bike or going for a swim or going for a hike or whatever it might be, and doing that for 20 minutes and just working that aerobic system, again, easy stuff, like just do it very easily, and not trying to kill yourself during the workout, just something nice and easy, slow, long, and build up from there. Start at 20 minutes and see, if you get it up to 30 minutes and 40 minutes and 50 minutes eventually, right? And the more you build that endurance capacity, the more you build that aerobic fitness, that's going to translate over into being able to handle and make it through those longer, harder strength training sessions when you have to do them, right? When you have that really long, hour and a half strength training session, it's going to help you make it through that and have the endurance to last that long. Now, if you're an endurance athlete and you're wondering how much strength to incorporate into your routine, same thing goes for you. You're probably doing endurance work 3 to 4 times a week, some type of cardio type of workout already. And for you, I would say, again, 1 to 2 times a week, hopefully around 2 times a week, you could get in some strength training. And these should be strength, like really focused on strength, right? I don't want you doing the long hour and a half strength workout. I want you doing something short and impactful and really working that strength. So low reps. I want, keeping reps for things like the big compound lifts, like squats and deadlifts and overhead press and barbell rows and stuff like that. I want you keeping the reps low, maybe in the 4 to 8 rep range, and I want them to be heavy for you. I want them to be challenging for you, right? I want you really working on that strength, right? And pick exercises that are going to complement what you're trying to do endurance wise, right? So there's no sense in trying to get your back squat up to 2 times your body weight if you're a bicyclist, right? Like it's not really going to help you. It'll help you to a point, maybe. You could argue that maybe doing a front squat might be more impactful, but certainly, trying to get your back squat up to some arbitrary number that you think is like a benchmark for strength is probably not going to translate over very well to what your ultimate goal is. So keep in mind the goal, but also keep in mind that you're not trying to do an endurance workout when you're doing your strength workouts either. So that's how I would just as general kind of split things up if I was talking to different types of athletes or people who are just generally looking for health and fitness and in the ratio of strength and cardio or endurance work. So let me know if you have any questions. Hit me up in the comments below. Always happy to answer any questions. You can, as always, head off and sign up for my newsletter, which I send out these weekly Facebook Lives to my newsletter generally every Sunday after I do them on Friday. So you can, if you miss any, you wouldn't be worried about missing them. You get them via your email. Also send out other great stuff, my blog posts, just random facts, comments, things I find interesting to my newsletter every week. So it's just a really useful thing to sign up and join for, and you'll definitely get some value out of it. So you can join the newsletter at rjbhealth.coach, and there's a link at the top where you can sign up for my newsletter. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, also let me know. Feel free to direct message me or send me a message on Instagram or whatever you want to do. And there's also a link to apply to do one-on-one coaching on my health coaching website to rjbhealth.coach. So if you're interested in that, let me know about that. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good week next week. And I will be back next Friday for another Facebook Live. Talk to you then.